We are live.
We are live, finally. No tech glitches. Although I just realized I should probably go to our YouTube channel and make sure that we're live. But anyway, welcome everybody to a live episode of Lunch and Life with me, Sharon Holand. I'm here with my co-host, Joy Meyers. And we are here to unpack Lunch and Life with a cooking lesson. And I'm so excited because Robin is an awesome chef. I'm not.
Yes, you are.
And we're going to talk about and continue the conversation about gratitude, the holidays, November reflection. So I'll just get started because we don't have our little clip to go to. That's recorded.
That's true.
I'm from Holand. I'm a functional holistic nutritionist, and I work with women who are overwhelmed and stressed out and tired of feeling tired. Get to the root of their most common health complaints with at-home testing and flexible food choices so you have more energy, less stress, and feel great again. Robin, take it away.
And I am Joy Meyers, and I am a molecular I can't even say what I am. I'm a molecular geneticist and coach, speaker, and author. And I help women fall in love with themselves right now at any stage that they're at so that they can thrive through life's changes and really find their true joy. And joy means just own you.
So Robin, let's get started with how this concept came up, because really it was your idea to do the cooking and coaching with our Lunch and Life. So share with everybody, because I think it's such a beautiful expression of love.
Well, thanks. Well, cooking is love, right? I mean, you kind of get to create something and hopefully bring someone to the table, or unless it's yourself and you love cooking for yourself. But it is an expression of love. And what I love about the idea of coaching and cooking and having a discussion is, as you're busy cooking, it opens up just the freedom to speak. And so as we did with pizza last week, and laying the crust is really the metaphor for the foundation. Sometimes in life we've got holes, we've got cracks, we can roll them out and skip over it, but it comes back again, right? So we have to go back and look at what's triggering us, what our sequence of life is, and realize that it's all a journey. Bottom line is we can control that journey. We just have to learn to tune into ourselves, love ourselves, and really trust in our decisions that we're making.
And I think it's so important, like with the tune in and love ourselves, because right, there's that underlying theme that we have with every single one of our episodes about how we are so busy taking care of everybody else, and we put ourselves last. And we also feel this tremendous guilt and burden and just disconnection of God, how dare we take care of ourselves? And then when we don't have that self-love, it really reflects in our health and how we show up, both health, physically, mentally, emotionally. So tying this all together is a great way to just come back to basics. And
right.
Certainly, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the beauty of what you do in your specialty as well is, cooking is awesome, I think. But you have that background and that knowledge as a functional nutritionist, and I'll probably butcher your whole title, but you can say it again. But you have that knowledge, right, of good foods and things we can swap and change, and little changes we can make for our health. And especially with this season, not only of COVID, but of our immune system. How do we boost our immune system? And we're getting more inside and things like that. So what are the things and what are the choices we can make, which are small changes, and take the comfort foods we love, which today's choice is mac and cheese. Who does not love mac and cheese? In fact, on the Today Show, they did an episode of mac and cheese, and I was like, that should be us.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But yeah, you're right. That's like the one staple food. Like, who didn't grow up? Actually, I did not grow up with mac and cheese. I did, now that I think about it, but my kids did, right? Your kids did.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love it?
Right.
So let's get started with what we're going to do, and then we'll talk through everything else as you share some of the ingredients, and we'll post in the description a link to this particular recipe for this vegan mac and cheese, which is delicious.
It's super, super good. I want to shout out the Simple Veganista because it's based off of her original recipe. It's a baked mac and cheese. And there's so many options. We were talking about it that you can do. You can start with regular pasta of any size, shape, or color that you like, or you can substitute it for a gluten-free or a vegetable one, or, there's so many more new healthy choices now. That did not make sense. Whoever's is an English teacher watching, I am so sorry. That makes no sense.
Let's hope Dan's not watching this.
Yeah. If you're watching, I totally apologize. But there's healthy choices that can be made that are delicious, that are absolutely delicious.
Yeah, and to the point of the pasta, because certainly, and I'm not going to go into why gluten is not good for our bodies. However, for people who are celiac and for people who are looking for alternatives, we sometimes think, oh, let me buy the gluten-free type. Yet we don't pay attention to the ingredients in those particular brands. And because we think, oh, gluten-free marketing, let me pick it up. And then it comes home, we might look at it and there's like a dozen ingredients and we don't even know what half of them are. So one that I love, and no affiliation, nothing, I'm not getting paid by this company, but the company is called Free to Eat. And my son found this because, my son has Crohn's, right? So he doesn't eat gluten, doesn't eat dairy. And we were looking for alternatives. This has 3 ingredients. It's red lentil, pumpkin, and butternut squash. And those are, it's a little blurry, but those are the only ingredients. So there are options out there, and I chose this because pumpkin, butternut squash, holidays, it's orange, right?
Right. I actually used an organic penne, a longer pasta this time. It has wheat, so sorry for all of you who don't like wheat, but I just did it because that's what I actually had. But it is an organic pasta, which I happen to like, so.
Awesome. So what do we do what are we doing?
So what we're doing is, and here's the beauty of this recipe, by the way, literally the prep time, as you do one thing, you can start the next thing. Prep time is 10 to 15 minutes tops. It cooks for about 30 minutes. So it's really an easy recipe. And it's a great Thanksgiving recipe, frankly, because once you bake it, you can keep it warm. And I don't know about you, but I eat anything cold, so it doesn't matter. But it's super easy. So you're using cashews as the sauce.
Yep, got mine here.
So the thing with cashews is, now you'll hear a couple of things. Some people will say you have to soak them overnight. This recipe actually gives you great options. So it says you can soak them, you could overnight, you could soak them 2 to 3 hours, or 5 minutes. And so I just, in the kettle, boiled water, put them in a container and soaked them for 5 minutes. And I have one of the Ninja big blenders. So it just, it'll grind pretty much anything up. Mm-hmm. Super, super easy. So do your pasta as normal, get water boiling and pasta going.
So I'm going to soak up my cashews while you continue talking.
So soak your cashews, get started. And then you also have an option. So here, it's really almost 3 things, right? So we're going to make the pasta. We're going to make the cheese sauce using cashews as the base. And then we're going to make kind of a breadcrumb topping. You and I kind of did this, and there's options on that. I thought I would get kind of fancy in my life, and I would, toast bread and make my own breadcrumbs. I'll be quite honest with you because I tasted it. There's a sweetness to it that I personally like. I like a breadcrumb, like a dry breadcrumb. So if you are going to make your own breadcrumbs, just my suggestion is look at the bread that you're starting with, because if you don't want sweet, it doesn't need sweetness. And basically, here's the recipe. It's 1.5 cups of the raw cashews after you soak them, boiling water, 1.5 cups of water, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. I get mine at Trader Joe's.
And I have this brand, Bragg's nutritional yeast.
Okay.
Which I got at Whole Foods, and I think they sell it online also.
Yeah, so that's easy. It's only 1/4 cup. Use the juice of fresh lemon. You could use vinegar if you want, but if you have lemon, I like lemon, so I
think lemon also is better for the body than vinegar. Vinegar has a tendency to ferment a little bit more, and so my recommendation is to go for the fresh lemon.
Okay, so why is apple cider vinegar the thing now?
Well, that's different. I'm talking about just like regular vinegar versus apple cider vinegar, which is called like the mother vinegar made from apple cider, that has a lot of nutrients and like probiotics in it that's meant to heal the body. You have a lot of different schools with it, and quite honestly, a lot of people actually can't stomach it, and have apple cider vinegar because it still has that high fermented quality to it that disturbs the lining. So it goes back to, what are you paying attention to and listening to and trying? Does it serve you?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and for apple cider vinegar, ACV for short, it doesn't serve a lot of people. So don't do something just because you hear about it. Versus lemon is very alkaline. It helps digestion. It helps with the liver, and it's much better and healthier. And it's a whole food, which is whole food's always best.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a huge lemon person, anyways. Actually, I like lemon scent, lemon candles, everything. But even in the morning, I'll just make a big glass of water with fresh lemon in it to start the day.
Yeah.
So the other thing you're going to add. Oh, by the way, this can all go. The sauce itself. Everything into one blender. So literally you're putting everything in: cashews, the water, the yeast, juice of a lemon, 1 clove of garlic, and mustard powder or Dijon mustard. I've done this before, and I suggest don't use a yellow mustard because you will taste the yellow mustard. It's yellow mustard. Doesn't work as well.
So Dijon, okay, got it. Can it be like, does it have to be just Dijon? Can it be spicy brown Dijon? Is there like a particular, or just kind of
stone? It just has to be a heavier mustard. That's all. It could be a stone ground. It could be it could be spicy. Like I like adding spice to pretty much anything. So you can even do some cayenne pepper if you want. A teaspoon of sea salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of turmeric. Turmeric is good for you.
Anti-inflammatory, fantastic for boosting your immune system. And for those who want, you can even get turmeric root and grate your own. But if you do that, wear plastic gloves because it will stain your fingers.
That's good to know.
And it'll stain your clothes. And if you have a marble countertop, be careful, use a cutting board. Turmeric stains. I'll just say that.
That's good to know as well. I did not know that. So that's why I have my little jar. And then you have a choice. Optional is either cayenne or a little bit of red pepper flakes. And the other thing you can add, but I don't think you need to, is a little cornstarch or arrowroot, like 2 teaspoons to thicken it. But I didn't have any problems with a thick sauce. So it's optional. My suggestion is don't use it.
Yeah, because if you just add less water, that makes it thick on its own, right? Because the water dilutes it. So the reason I would think to use the thickener is if you added too much water, then you need to thicken it.
Right. And that's really the sauce. So literally, let's say your pasta is ready. You put it in a colander, right? In your blender, do your sauce. And then then you can put your drained pasta back into the pot. So I literally have, this is my big boiling pasta pot here. So I literally dumped, I'm so bad at this left-right thing. Like,
you did perfect right where it is.
I won't move. Anyway, so here's the beauty is after you drain your pasta, put it back into the pot, empty pot, and try not to break anything in the interim, and pour in your cheese sauce. The other thing is, as you and I have discussed, that we like adding certain things. So I added in some chopped up broccolini and a handful, probably 2 handfuls of spinach leaves. And if you put it in with the warm pasta and then the cheese sauce coming in, you don't have to do anything more to it. It kind of just will start kind of wilting on its own.
Yeah, yeah. I love spinach. I'm surprised my face isn't green and that I haven't turned into a piece of spinach because I eat it every single day, really, like every day. Mm-hmm. And it's a great way to add a vegetable in to a family's diet. And I'm using air quotes, but yeah. Yeah, but it's a great way to add in a vegetable for someone who, a child who might not ordinarily eat it, because when it's combined in with the sauce, you don't really taste it. And what I do, and what I could recommend for families with younger children who don't love vegetables, chop it up really small. Because when it's big and leafy and then they feel like they're chewing it, their palate is not going to enjoy it. But when it's tiny, it's much more palatable. And easier to mix into the whole blend.
Yeah, and pick the vegetable that you want. Obviously, you want something a little hearty that's going to be able to then be baked and stand up to the sauce. Once you mix it all up, then put it into your pan that you're going to bake in, your baking dish, your casserole dish. And then you can put your breadcrumbs on top, if you like your breadcrumbs. And then I actually top it with paprika, because I like when it's kind of smoky. First of all, it also helps kind of crisp the top. It helps crisp the breadcrumbs, and I kind of like the noodles crisp as well.
I do. And, we were talking when we were going over the recipe about the rice crumbs with the gluten-free, and, my instinct, and I really want to, and we'll talk about this when it comes to like gratitude in a minute, but we know, our intuition knows, our gut knows what, and we feel what we should or shouldn't do. And my intuition was like, don't add it. Don't add these breadcrumbs. You don't need it. And I didn't listen to it, right? I followed the recipe. And this recipe is also a metaphor for life, of like, how much do you follow a recipe versus improving it to what works for you? Right? And so I'm just going to show, like, because I've already baked mine, and you can see like this white topping. Well, you can also see that I already ate some. So much better than mine. But mine, this white topping, it didn't bake well. And if I would have not put it on, the noodles would have crisped up. And I love crunchy noodles.
Yeah. Well, you hit something really great there. And it's about trusting our journeys and trusting that first intuition we have, like, pause and go with it. You know what I mean? Like, so when your brain is fighting you to be like, but there's a recipe that said you need to add a cup of breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And you do. I mean, actually, I was going to do it, and then I decided to make my own, which I'm not really sure how well that went either.
Well, of course, you're just a natural chef, so of course you would do that.
Why, thanks. But it's true. It is a metaphor, because we don't have to go with what we think is the right thing, or what someone thinks we should do, or what we think we should do for somebody.
Yeah, and this also in terms of dieting and wondering like, trying another diet, and why doesn't this one work, or it works temporarily, is because it's not about it being cookie cutter. It's not about everything being black and white. The only thing that's black and white are numbers and taxes, right? That's it. Everything else isn't. It's nuanced. It's based on our individuality, our dispositions. And so this recipe, really, it's just so apropos, especially with Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And I want to kind of transition into discussing now, like, how important these recipes for life, the gratitude, and with everything that's going on, how important it is to just breathe
and pause. Like, it's okay to just take that deep breath and like hold for a second.
Yeah.
Right? We've said it before on other shows, right? Unless something is a true emergency, which means like the house is on fire, then you run. Otherwise, take that deep breath and pause. And honestly, what might work perfect for you, like that recipe might be perfect, might not work for me because of whatever reason. And so it's okay, right? We're individuals, and that's how you learn too.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of our shift and what's happening now, and looking at Thanksgiving and the holidays, the stress of everything, having a comfort food, doing a Zoom call, being live right through these channels. Like, how do we find, what's the best way for you with your family of finding connection, of expressing gratitude and thankfulness and all of that?
Well, I think, one of the big things is to remember that there's something to be grateful for every day. And it could be as simple as I got myself up and out of bed today. Like it was just going to be a rough day, but I got up and I got out and I made mac and cheese. You know what I mean? It just could be something like that. But I think it really is important to acknowledge where you're at. And if it's a day where you need to really pause and pull back, and maybe you're not going 100% into your business because whether it's a personal reason or just mentally you're not there, then if you're only going at 50%, then give it the 50%. Like, know what you can allocate to it and give it that. Otherwise, it's really a matter of knowing who you are and trusting who you are, and that things will go as you need it to go. But again, I think setting the day up, are two very important questions of the morning, I think, are key. How do I want to feel, and what do I need to have happen for me today?
Yeah.
Total key.
As well as the book ending of it with exactly the simple things of, look, I have a beautiful home. I'm lucky to be surrounded by family and friends, even if it's virtually, that I have a healthy body, that I have a delicious bite of.
Oh, so you take that big bite right now.
What?
Take that big bite right now. I'm impressed. That's good.
It was a little big.
But it's true to be able to sit and connect, right? And then there's a difference of, like, let's talk about the connection part, because as we get closer, obviously, to Thanksgiving, we'll talk about this again, but we're not going to be able to be with a group, right? Even if our family or kids are away or parents are away or whatever that looks like, find a way to set it up that it's fun. Find a way that if you're having your immediate family or just one or two of you for dinner, then you can get on a Zoom call or FaceTime and have dessert or have a card game or, and the other thing is maybe you set it up ahead of time. What are you grateful for this year? And I think really our root of things that we're thankful for have shifted. In a way, it's COVID, the blessing in disguise, because it's rooted us to say, family's really important. We have a roof over our head. Like, we're doing okay. And hopefully everyone is doing okay. We're doing okay with what we have. It might feel a little uncomfortable right now, but we're going to be okay.
Right, exactly. And it's seasons, right? It's seasonal. Yes, COVID, flu, that's obviously very real, but everything we go through is seasonal. And so if we can just stay grounded with what resonates with us, with what's real and true, it'll just keep us grounded. It'll help us be resilient,
right,
as we pass through this, because it's part of life. It's part of our journey.
Right. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. And just one last note that I want to say about this mac and cheese, because a lot of times people think, oh, mac and cheese is so fattening, and does it have enough protein, and am I getting all my nutrients? And well, you're never going to get all your nutrients in one meal, which is why you want to have a variety of foods, eat the colors of the rainbow. The one thing that I love about this mac and cheese dish is the fact that especially when you go for the grain-free, the vegetable-based pastas, they have protein in them. And you're going to get some more nutrients from you adding in some spinach and the nutritional yeast and some of the cashews. So it's also just like removing yourself from thinking of like, oh my God, this is so fattening, to this is such delicious comfort food and it's nourishing. So it's shifting that mindset, perspective of how we're looking at everything, because every food that we make can be healthier, but it's also okay to say, you know what? I want to enjoy my brisket with this mac and cheese during Thanksgiving, and I'm still going to put my cranberry sauce on it or something else. Like, enjoyment and indulging is all part of the equation.
Right. And so don't skip the indulging, because you are going to crave it, right? So have it and have it in reasonable portions, but enjoy it. And again, as you said, we can add things and substitute things and make different versions of it.
Exactly. And create your own new Thanksgiving menu.
I like that.
I like that too. So I think on that note,
I think that's a good place to stop this week.
I agree. And so we have unpacked Lunch and Life.
Yes, we have. And we will post this recipe because it really is a super recipe. I think it's a great recipe for Thanksgiving, actually, and any other time, including chicken.
I want to thank you all for watching. Listen, if there's anything you want us to cook in the future, I know we really didn't actually do the cooking because of the way this is set up, but sharing all the ingredients and then showing you our finished product, let us know because this is fun. We're going to start mixing in more lives with our recorded. And until next week, I hope everybody has a great day. And I enjoy unpacking lunch with you, Robin, as always.
Always enjoy unpacking lunch with you, Sharon. Take care.